I tell anybody, I'm just a country boy from Garrisburg, North Carolina. Small town, you know what I'm saying? Nothing but fields and people.
What college did you go to?
So I started off at UNC Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
And then I finished up at Elizabeth City State University.
What did you get your master's in?
Math.
Did you always want to be a teacher too?
I come from educators.
So were you one of the popular kids in school?
By default, because my mom was the guidance counselor at my high school.
And what sports did you play?
Everything, man. I didn't pursue sports like I wanted to. That's probably my biggest regret.
Interesting.
Interesting is a very good word to use. Your vocabulary is amazing, brother.
Thank you, man.
In relationships, keeping a level head and not giving emotion can push a woman away. I'm trying not to raise my voice, or I'm trying not to match that energy, but to them is you shutting down.
So it can be looked at as you're not giving enough to the relationship because
Absolutely.
you're chilling.
And in times, yes, that was true. I wasn't being vulnerable.
Why not?
I never seen it.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the RXS podcast. I'm Rajay, and I got a special guest in the building. JP, how you doing, man?
Doing good, brother. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yo, man, I'm glad to have you here, man.
Absolutely.
Yo, man, before we start, I ain't gonna say no names, but we were just laughing about that funeral.
Yeah.
So JP came to the church to do a funeral, and there was a lot of interesting stuff.
A lot. It was a lot. Interesting is a very good word to use. Your vocabulary is amazing, brother.
Thank you, man. It was crazy, but it was good to see you, though.
Absolutely, man. It's been some years now.
Yeah, man, and it's dope to see you still doing your thing with the sax, bro.
Absolutely, man. That's one of the things that I can't give up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time that, it's a blessing to be able to share that gift.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for it. It ain't something that, you know what I'm saying? I studied. It's truly a gift. So
yeah.
I'm blessed.
How did you even pick up playing sax?
So yeah, I was at a church. Deacon at my church came in. He played it. After the service was over with, I was like, Mom, I want to learn how to play that. You
really?
know? Yeah. So it was crazy because DeVito.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so me and him are real close, man, and he was playing the drums. And so I'm like, all right, I don't want to be like him.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like by default.
Yeah.
I went to a different instrument, and it's crazy because I watch All the Smoke podcast.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry, not All the Smoke. It's the Pivot. My fault.
Yeah.
The Pivot podcast. I watch All the Smoke too, but the Pivot podcast and Freddie Taylor always talk about exposure leads to expansion.
Yeah.
And so being exposed to that gave me another instrument to be able to play. You know what I'm saying? Besides the keyboard or besides the drums.
Yeah.
So when I heard him play, man, it was just like something clicked. And that was like six. I was
That's
like
crazy.
6 or 7.
So before that time, were you interested in music, and did you want to be a musician?
I was interested in music, but it wasn't as strong. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it was kind of, again, honestly, it was kind of like the cool thing
Yeah.
to do, because me and DeVito, we were the only two like in church who found interest in music.
Yeah.
And so my mom, she sings,
Of course.
but other than that, even she and everybody else still kind of like, they don't know where I got it from per se.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it ain't like I have a heavy family of musicians.
Yeah.
My uncle, he played the organ and whatnot and the keys, but other than that, and my mom sings, but other than that, bro, my dad's side, nothing.
That's
like,
crazy.
No musicians over there, like between my dad, my aunts,
Yeah.
my grandma, and
Yeah.
grandfather, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it just, like I say, like we were talking earlier. That's why I say, man, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It really is a gift, bro.
So at 6 years old, you like, hey, Mom, I think I want to play sax.
Yeah, and she didn't hold me back, man. She ain't hold it back.
So like, how soon did she get a sax for you?
So she told the deacon that played.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like he went out to the pawn shop, found a horn, brought it in. We did like our first little lesson or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then he basically was just like, yo, like, this is what this is how you hold it, this is how you
Yeah.
blow into it and whatnot. Pause. but he was just like, hey, you got it. Like I
Yeah.
started just picking up on it pretty fast, and we'll never forget what he did, because essentially he ignited, a fire that was
Yeah.
already kind of there, that God had placed there.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? So just playing, man, and just getting started at like 7 ish or whatever. And he basically essentially gave us the horn, because he only charged my mom like $20 for the horn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
And so it might have been a couple $100
Yeah.
coming from a pawn shop.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't necessarily a high end horn, but it's
Mhm.
still a solid horn.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that's how I got started, bro.
And did you like listen to other sax players after that, like to learn?
No.
So what did you practice to?
So that was the crazy thing, right? So he taught me, my first song that he taught me was a hymn, Just
Okay.
As I Am.
Okay.
That was the first hymn that I learned.
Mhm.
And so played that in church. And then after that, I really didn't play as much anymore. So it was then I got to middle school, and then I started playing more once we got a program at the middle school. Then of course I played in high school as well. But it wasn't until I got into my freshman year of college when I really started like getting into jazz.
Yeah.
Like people be like, "Oh, you play the saxophone? I know you play jazz." I'm like, "No."
No, I actually play hymns.
Right. Right. Exactly. And it was honestly, it was out of fear. Like I respected the genre so much, and I knew that what I was playing was not that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that was, for me, that was an experience, man, to open up my eyes.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it was kind of like, yo, like I love what I'm hearing, but I'm not there. So it then became the journey of who can I find, and who do I want to sound like, and who do I like, and who can I imitate, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and kind of pull from to make my own style.
Yeah.
So it wasn't truthfully until after I graduated high school that I really started listening to sax players and just jazz in general more heavily.
Yeah. And what college did you go to?
So I started off at UNC Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
And then I finished up at Elizabeth City State University.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. So I got both experiences, the PWI and the HBCU. And I tell anybody that, they both had their pros and their cons.
Yes, sir.
And so, but I did so when I started at UNC Chapel Hill, something just went right. Did 2 years and found out that I had a little slight illness. So took care of that, dealt with that, took a year off, and decided, well, I'll just go to a smaller school. And then it helped with me knowing the president at the time, chancellor at the time. So it helped with me knowing him, like personally knowing him, and went to ECSU, did my undergrad, then stuck around and got a master's. So, I mean, it ended up, you know what I'm saying, being very, very beneficial for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
And what did you get your master's in?
math.
Let's go.
So I tried to correlate math and music and
Yeah.
whatnot, but it was a fun experience, bro.
Yeah. What made you choose math?
So I tell any of my students now, if you can find what you're passionate about, and if you can find or figure out what you're good at, sometimes they both align and are the same thing, but sometimes you have to use both to build yourself and build your wealth and build your income and everything. I'm passionate about music, but math just comes easy to me. So it's like one of those things, why not teach it? You know what I'm saying? Why not study it? Why not move forward with it and do different stuff with it? So that's kind of how I got into math, man.
Yeah.
It was just easy for me.
And did you always want to be a teacher too?
So my family, now that, yeah, my
Okay.
family I come from educators. You know
Okay,
what I'm
let's
saying?
go.
And so so that was easy to get into because that was just kind of what my family did.
Yeah.
But so all in all, throughout life, I was just exposed to different instances where I was a teacher and I would teach or tutor or help my peers.
So it was never in an official capacity. It was just kind of like naturally helping somebody you were close to or a friend.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, man, I mean, there were times, I remember distinctly 2 times in high school when we had a math teacher. She came in. She was an engineer. She worked at NASA. She's actually a state representative now. And so like she would tell the story all the time that I taught her how to teach because she knew the stuff, but she didn't know how to break it down to us. You know what I'm saying? And so there were times where I would go up in front of the class, teach the subject because I got it. I understood, you know what I'm saying, what was going on. Then there was a time in chemistry where we had a Hispanic teacher, and the class was getting frustrated because they didn't understand what he was saying, and then they didn't get what he was trying to teach and stuff. And so I literally had to go up to the board and teach it. You know what I'm saying, in that moment and in that instance. And so it was funny. You know, it's funny looking back at it, but again, those were instances where I was just literally teaching my peers and helping them out, man. So yeah.
So like, were you like one of the popular kids in school?
Well, I was popular in my opinion by default because my mom was the guidance counselor at my high school.
True.
So you know what I'm saying, like your mom work at the school, everybody know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's funny because a friend of mine, he deemed me as that guy. He gave me that nickname because it was kind of like, you know, I played sports and they might not know my name and whatnot, but they knew I was just that guy.
Yeah.
I did good in academics wise. I was doing good and stuff. And so it was just interesting because, like I said, you had the sports side. I was pretty decent in sports and whatnot, and then had the academia side. I was pretty solid in that.
Yeah.
So it was like they may not know my name, but they just know me as, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
You know, so he gave me that nickname.
Yeah. And what sports did you play?
Everything, man.
Really?
Yeah. So I played football, basketball, baseball, did the jumps in track, and played golf. So
that's literally everything, JP.
Everything, yeah, everything, literally.
Yo,
everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. I went to Northampton West, and so it was small school.
Yeah.
You know
and what
I'm
city
saying?
is that in?
Gaston.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's Northampton County. But yeah, bro, went there, and it was fun, man. School was fun back then, and you know what I'm saying, having a good time and whatnot. And the sports was cool.
Yeah.
That's probably my biggest regret.
Okay.
Is that I didn't pursue my sports like I wanted to. I stuck with the educational piece, and I wish I would have done more with sports.
Why didn't you?
Just because I graduated number 2 in my class. Okay. So it was kind of one of those things where I had a teaching fellow scholarship at the time when teaching fellows was a thing.
What is that?
So it was basically you had to do your 4 years at an institution, like a public institution in the state of North Carolina, that was within like the Teaching Fellows program. Different, not all schools had it.
Okay.
But you go to that school, you do your 4 years. They basically are honing you to be a teacher. And so your payback is to go back and teach. You know what I'm saying?
In the same system at one of those schools that's in that system, or any school?
Yeah, any high school or K through 12 school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you basically would give back. It's almost like Teach for America, which is kind of like the same thing. But you go to, you can do it in whether it be a rural community or you can do it with teaching fellows. I think you could do it in both rural and suburbia. So it was kind of, you know what I'm saying, the same concept with that. But you are essentially giving back.
I got you.
Paying your way or your tuition back through teaching.
Oh.
So it's like you guaranteed to come out and teach. Like that's what you got to do.
Okay.
If not, you're going to pay back the scholarship.
So you don't have to pay it back if you teach.
Right.
And how long did you have to teach for that to for the
I think it was 4 years.
Okay.
So the 4 years of school that you went through,
do
4
another
years
4 years teaching.
teaching. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah.
So did you finish school with no debt?
No, I didn't, because when I went to Elizabeth City, they didn't have it, and they was just about to kind of do away with the program anyways. And so Elizabeth City had their own program, but I didn't want to do it because I didn't at that time. I kind of didn't know if I wanted to go into teaching. I was kind of unsure about it, and I wanted to keep my options open. So I decided, like, nah, I ain't gonna do it, man. But and definitely with me continuing on and getting my master's, that added more debt. You know what I'm saying? Of course, because I still wanted to take out, and I still ended up taking out some financial aid and some loans and stuff, even though that was taken care of to help live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
during that time frame, but yeah.
So talk to me about that. Like after college, you're clearly playing the saxophone. So you're doing gigs and stuff too?
Yeah.
And teaching?
Yeah. So after college, at that time, I was still playing. I'm still teaching.
Yeah.
Like I'm teaching at the community college, and that's where I started out at, teaching at the community college there in the area. And then after that, I got my hours up to where I was eligible to teach at Elizabeth City.
Let's go.
Which
JP.
was it was funny, bro. Like I ended up teaching somebody that I was taking a class with, that I had took classes with for my undergrad.
Crazy.
Because he took his math late. And so he had to he ended up taking my class.
So when he walked in, was he like,
Yeah, no, literally. I had sat down in the class, and then I left out and came back in as the teacher. Like at first I was just watching students come in and people come in. And so, I spoke to him, whatever, and then I left.
So he thinking you a student the first go round.
Yeah. So like the first few minutes, he thinking that, you know what I'm saying, I'm just like him taking the class or whatever. And so I leave out, go do something, come back in. It's probably about 2 minutes after, the class is supposed to start. I'm like, good afternoon. My name is Jashaun Peele. I'm your teacher for college algebra. He like, what? Like, hold on, bro. I just was in economics with you. Like, how you teaching? You this your class? So it was funny, man. It was real funny.
That's
but
dope,
cool.
though. That's dope, bro. Are you well versed in economics? Like, how are you with like money and stuff?
Man, listen, you can never be good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always more things to learn with financials and economics and whatnot, man. So that wasn't my wheelhouse per se. But at the time, to get a math degree, you had to have a minor.
I got you.
You can pick whatever minor you want to pick, but you just had to have a minor. And at that time, they had entrepreneurship as a minor. So my degree says Bachelor of Science, Mathematics, minor entrepreneurship. So I didn't even stick with the STEM. Like most people, they got a chem minor or a bio minor or a computer science minor. I was like, nah, man, give me the entrepreneurship.
Did you think of yourself as an entrepreneur, or did you ever feel like you would be one, or you just took that? Like, what drew you to take it?
I already knew. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Like, it was, I'm like, look, I'm not that 9-to-5 guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to do some other things, and I don't want to necessarily rely on one job. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that I was doing gigs even with the bachelor's, doing my bachelor undergrad time and whatnot. And so I was like, man, I want to do more business and potentially expand different businesses and look into different things. So it was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna get this entrepreneurship minor, and I'm gonna learn a little bit more about accounting, about marketing, little stuff like that. Take classes like that, and it helped.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It helped, and so it was something different. Just because I knew that yes, I was good at that. But I'm not gonna get a music minor. So let's get something else that can promote the business. So
So listening to you talk, it is very clear that when it comes to life, you pretty much have a level head.
You got to.
Yeah. But everybody don't, JP. Where does that come from for you?
Honestly, bro, I feel like it comes from genetically, it comes from my dad.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'll be honest, that level head has gotten me in trouble and out of trouble.
Okay,
from the standpoint.
Okay.
So I always say that, sometimes that is what, there are certain things and certain qualities about people that can draw you to them. But after a certain amount of time, it can also push you away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, or push them away. And so just over time, man, like the level head, just trying to keep a cool head on everything, see things for what it is, and not get too upset in the moment, and just, all those different things, man. It's taken a while to kind of just keep it.
Yes.
Because it's easy to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? But checking your emotions in those moments and just being mindful of what's going on in those moments, man, that's critical, bro.
So tell me, if you don't mind,
what's up?
Tell me one story or instance where your level head got you in trouble.
That's easy, man.
Okay.
To be honest, bro, like in relationships.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like in relationships, keeping a level head and not giving that emotion can push a woman away.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you thinking that, okay, I'm trying not to raise my voice, or I'm trying not to match that energy, but to them is you shutting down. You know what I'm saying?
So it can be looked at as you're not giving enough to the relationship because you're chilling.
Absolutely. And in times, yes, that was true.
Okay.
Let's be 100.
Yes,
you know
sir.
What I'm saying? In times that was true, where I wasn't being vulnerable.
Why not?
I never seen it. You know what I'm saying? I never seen a man be vulnerable. I never understood what that looked like. I never really was one to share my feelings like that. You know what I'm saying? I would kind of hold them and just chill, and again, keep the level head and not really bring up my thoughts or what I'm thinking or emotions, and just let it ride and pass. And so it's never really a good thing in a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to share, you got to be vulnerable. Eventually, you got to, talk through things and whatnot. So it was definitely an interesting time, and still is, because I'm still a work in progress.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I got better, but that's definitely a work in progress, bro.
Yeah. So what's a time where your level head got you out of trouble?
Interestingly enough, in those same instances.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it gets you in trouble, but at the same time, it's like, when I do become vulnerable and start to share my feelings, then they understand, you know what I'm saying, truly what I'm saying, and it's not just me throwing something up against the wall and seeing what sticks.
True.
So they know every word is intentional.
Yeah, man.
And I'm trying not to tear them down.
Absolutely.
At the same time,
Absolutely.
And it come from a place of I've sat with this, and here's how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming out of rage.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Because that can get ugly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it can be toxic, man.
Yeah, man.
So, don't nobody want that.
Facts.
Rajay is the way you say it.
When I went to Central, I said, my goal is to make my name known around this area. I went there and became the bottom
You the top in Wilson, the bottom at Central.
instantly.
Did you lose your mojo?
I kept thinking like, oh man, I need to get some more stuff under my belt before I do anything.
They see it as, ain't no child gonna tell me what to do.
He said, I'm going to stay on your A, like white on rice. I went home and told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't like this nigga. I don't like him.
If you're in the music, you gonna give the song what it needs. If you in your head, you just gonna play what you know how to play.
Ask questions if you don't know.
If you don't know. What is feel?
What is feel? I did like this. Start feeling myself while I played a little bit. The best thing that happened to us is the things that we don't see happening to us.
Interesting.
A lot of people don't know this, but I struggle with hearing loss. Everybody has a flaw.
Yeah.
It makes you who you are. But why would God give me the gift of music, but the opposition of hearing?
If you enjoyed this clip and would like to enjoy more, Search the RXS Podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify Podcast, or watch the RXS Podcast on RXS Entertainment YouTube channel. Talk to me about the way you think about handling business as a musician.
So, number one, for me, I feel like I've always been one to kind of stick to what I say.
Yes, sir.
Over under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So especially when the most important people are either number one is the client, and then number two is, my whoever is on the gig with me.
Yes, sir.
So my co-musicians. So I mean, for me, anybody that has, I would like to think at least, anybody that has played behind me or with me or whatever, we go into a situation like they know, okay, JP, he's already spelled out, what the expectations are, pretty much.
Yes, sir.
For the most part. And we here to have fun.
Yeah, man.
We here to get this money.
Yes, sir.
And go home.
Yeah.
I try to keep it that simple.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with my guys, And so if I call you to do something, they want to come back and do it because it feels easy.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I mean? And when you feel like the gig is easy, then you're able to kind of be yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I always just try to keep it light. Like, as you know, bro, like, it don't matter what you all practice. That hit, that line, whatever it is that's coming up in that song, once you miss it, it's gone.
It's gone.
So ain't no need to stress yourself over it. Like, and ain't
Yeah.
no need for you as the band leader or the head to worry about it either. Because that moment gone.
Yeah.
And in most instances, the audience don't even realize
don't
or
know.
recognize it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's not to say that, we're going to dumb down ourselves or you shouldn't keep it professional. That's only to say, why stress?
Yeah,
You know what
man.
I'm saying? So, like I said, man, I try to keep that approach in it, in terms of me telling business people, or my clients, just, this is what you should expect when you book me. You know what I'm saying? We're going to bring this. We're going to bring this. My guys' resumes, they play for this person, this person, this person. So you're getting quality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you trust me, then you should trust who I'm bringing in.
Yes, sir.
To provide some music for your event.
Yes, sir.
So that's always kind of my thing, man, how I look at it, because I always want to make sure that the client is taken care of, but also my guys are taken care of. You know what I mean? And I don't like surprises.
Yeah.
I don't like surprises. Now, I always tell people clear line of communication is what get us through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, I'm on the way or running behind or whatever. All right, cool. I can take up for you.
Yeah.
Because the client is waiting for us to get started. But if you don't tell me nothing, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so now I always tell my guys, like, yo, just let me know.
Yeah.
You let me know. It covers me, but more so it covers you as well.
Yeah.
And, everything is straight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you handle your own bookings?
I do.
Interesting.
And I'll be honest. There are some times where stuff it falls through the cracks.
Yeah.
Because they might call me or I might take it, especially while I'm driving.
Yeah.
Like, I always get calls because I'm always driving somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, I'll get a call and they're like, hey, can you do this event or can you do this? And they'll give me the date or they'll ask for a contract, but I'm driving.
Yeah.
And by the time I get to my destination, especially on the weekends, man, it's hard to book something on the weekends, because I'll put it in the calendar as we're talking. So I'll give all the details, all that stuff. And then, like, a month out from the event, I'm like, hey, just checking in, making sure everything's still good. We're still on for this time, blah, 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 blah. Well, I never got the contract, so I went a different route. All right, man. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I had you down, but
yeah.
whatever. All right, cool. And so those instances are always interesting whenever they happen. And I kind of, kick myself slightly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But But other than that, bro, it's just trying to stay on top of it when, you know what I'm saying, those calls come through and when those messages are sent.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about getting a booking manager?
I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I've thought about it. And but for me, it's like if there's no benefit, if you can't up the level.
Yeah, if you just answering the phone and saying we're available, I can't give you a cut of that because I can do that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather lose out on one, you know, every 6 months maybe
Than to give
you a cut every time.
Every time you say, yeah, we're available.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's all you're doing. You're a secretary.
That's true.
Right now, I don't need a secretary.
So, but you would be willing to hire somebody if they could put you in different places that you couldn't put yourself.
Exactly.
That's the value.
That's the value.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can push it, and you know, at the end of the day, I don't feel like I have a doo-doo product.
Yeah.
Hey, like if you can push this product and put me in situations that I wouldn't have had time to put myself in.
Yeah.
And you have those connections, or you're just intentional about reaching out to certain people and whatnot, then cool. By all means.
Yeah.
You have worked for that.
Yes.
So I'm willing to give you a cut.
Yes.
But man,
Just to
other
answer the
times-
phone and say, yes, JP is available. Give me my 10%.
Yeah.
That is wild. Like, now that I think about it, that's wild.
Yeah.
But that's
true.
what some managers do.
Right.
And it's like, I can do that.
Exactly. You don't show up at the gig. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell the people, hey, these are the things that he needs in terms of audio. Because I ain't one of them dudes that, hey, I need a green room. Man, come on, man.
I need Dasani water and some brown M&Ms.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. Like, nah, man. I'm changing in the truck.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at with it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I'm not too big for that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
man.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I tell anybody, I'm just a country boy from Garrisburg, North Carolina. Small town. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but fields and people. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, who am I to be requesting all this stuff? Or, you know, I'm
Yeah.
appreciative when they say, okay, you know, you have a green room, or what would you like in your green room, or whatever. I'm appreciative of that, but I don't request that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like to bring in somebody and then because they've seen it for others, then they request it for me. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, man, just hey, I want to be out listening to everybody else too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If this is a festival type event, I want to hear what everybody else playing. I want to hear what they're doing. I want to hear what moves the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Because that's, again, how you studying your craft.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if I'm supposed to be following up that person, okay, they just had the crowd rocking on that song. Like, what was it about that song that was bringing the people in?
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like sometimes managers and, you know, agents and all that stuff, they put you on this pedestal, or make other people put you on this pedestal that even you don't even want to really be on, because they come off too harsh than what you would really come off as. You know what I mean?
And then your representation becomes a reflection of you. So people assume that you're like that because you're allowing that to happen.
Absolutely. And that's what I would never want to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that I'm worried about in terms of getting a manager, getting a booking agent, or, you know, having an agent to talk for me, because I know how to be professional. I know how to be stern and professional at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
When, you know, some people, they just rah.
Yeah.
And it's like, that ain't me though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm telling, you know, the promoter or whoever, like, hey, it's good. Like, well, no, that ain't how your manager made it seem. And da-da-da-da. And I'm like, now I got to talk with them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, like, that ain't me.
Yeah.
You know, so you're representing me. You're not just representing yourself.
Absolutely.
And now they don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
But they want me. But they got to work with you to get to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're not making this good. You know,
Yeah.
so So yeah, man, and I'm very hands on
Mhm.
with stuff. I mean, I did my event April 6th, the wine sip and listen jazz showcase, and that
Yes,
was
sir.
dope. And I was very very hands on, especially because it was my first one.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, this was my baby. This was my vision.
Yeah.
Nobody else. I can't articulate it because I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I
Yeah.
don't really know everything. And so now that I've done it one time, then I can better articulate to someone how I may want things to be handled.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I mean that night, I'm walking around putting the tables out, putting the chairs
Oh
out.
yeah, you was working.
Oh yeah. Putting linen on the tables,
Yeah.
making sure that there was, beverages available for the people,
Yeah.
printing off tickets, buying the wristbands and stuff to go.
You did everything.
Everything except for the flyer and like some of the graphics.
Yeah.
But everything else, I did everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Are you gonna do that event again? anytime
Yeah, so
soon?
that's gonna be an annual thing. So that'll
Okay.
be the first Saturday in April.
Every year.
Every year, yeah. We doing it again. We're gonna do it again at the American Legion in Roanoke Rapids.
Okay.
But eventually, prayerfully we're trying to grow that thing to
Yeah.
a point where, it becomes a 2-day event, and we
Yes,
got to
sir.
do it at what's now Weldon Mills Theater, but it was the
Yeah.
Roanoke Rapids Theater.
Yeah.
So right there off of 95.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So bring in some even greater acts and bigger acts
Yeah.
and whatnot. And so yeah, man, I'm excited about it. Because that area, they don't have anything in terms of
Yeah.
jazz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even here in Rocky Mount, I know the steakhouse used to do stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't really do nothing like that no more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where Eastern North Carolina don't get jazz.
Yeah.
They don't
that's
get
true.
smooth jazz. You know what I'm saying? And so definitely having that every year and just bringing in some recognizable names.
Yeah,
and
man, that's
some
dope.
top artists is that's the goal, bro.
Yeah. So in that instance, you're more of the like promoter. You're
I'm everything.
everything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm contacting the people.
Yeah.
In this case, we had nobody coming out of town really, so everybody was in Raleigh or
Mhm.
in Greenville or coming from Greensboro area and whatnot. So
Yeah.
different musicians and different people and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out pretty good. And even when another promoter, he was just like, man, listen. He wanted to know even the website situation. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because I was able to not use Eventbrite, so that way they ain't taking the cut. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like little
man.
stuff like that. So I was using Square to
Yeah.
take, the tickets and take the money, and then I had to print off, who was paying for what and whether they paid via Cash App, whether they paid via Square, and
Yeah.
all that stuff, bro. So it was definitely an experience, and it was funny because I looked at it as almost as if I was back in school and almost treated it like a school project.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it was very project based.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
And so the teacher in me wanted to, kind of do it as a project type thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you have this budget. What you gonna do with this budget?
Yeah. It's literally like, it's literally
Yeah.
like school. Like, this is what it is. This is what it is. How should you handle this? How should you handle that?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, what can you build for an experience? You know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. So, I mean, it was cool, man. We had melanated wine. We had there a black-owned wine distributor or winery out of Durham.
That's fire.
Female, as a matter of
That's
fact.
fire too.
And then my man out of Raleigh, Durham area had a food truck, brought in the food truck.
Yeah.
And it was, so we definitely had food there.
Yeah.
So it was whatever you wanted. Hopefully you didn't leave famished. You know what I'm saying? Whether that was spiritually or physically. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So yeah, it was a dope situation, bro.
Yes.
The vibes was good and everything, man.
Yes.
So it was fun.
So, as you move forward in your life and in your career, what are some goals or aspirations that you have moving forward?
So, we was talking earlier, definitely finishing up this album.
Yeah.
Getting that on all the streaming platforms. And, a goal, would be, to have some tracks on the smooth jazz billboards, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So some number ones here and there, and maybe a Grammy out of situation.
Yes,
Who knows?
Yes,
You know what I mean?
sir.
My thing is, bro, I just want to again share the gift that God gave me, and whatever happens with it is what happens.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Anything that I'm able to do with it is a blessing. So
Yes.
yeah, that's those are kind of the near and far goals.
Yeah,
You know what
man.
I'm saying? So yeah.
Roger is the way you say it.
Were you into music early?
Nah, to be honest with you, I wasn't.
Word.
Nah, I just rapped and freestyled in school and stuff
Okay.
as a hobby, like just to play around.
Did you have like aspirations like to go to the league or anything?
I had a scholarship. That was my dream. Got hit by a truck, had 9 surgeries. That was a wrap. At that time, I contemplated a lot.
So you just wrote about it.
Yeah, wrote about it. I actually wrote like my first mixtape in the hospital.
You were in Maryland for a while.
My whole life, pretty much.
What was it like growing up there?
It was rough, man.
For real?
Yeah, it was rough. Like I saw like my first dead body, bro, at like 13.
Did you ever get into any of that stuff?
When I got in trouble, they would send me away, stuff like that, to my grandma's. It was like, nah, you come on back here. So
Yeah.
then it was just like, oh, you ain't gonna be like your brother.
And how old were you when he passed away?
It's like 4 years ago.
And was it like a tragic thing?
Yeah, he was murdered.
If you enjoyed this clip and would like to enjoy more, search the RXS podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, or watch the RXS podcast on RXS Entertainment YouTube channel. Being a musician and being an educator, what would a piece of advice or encouragement be? Like if you were talking to your students who are similar to you, like, hey, I have this passion, I have this gift, I have these abilities, and I'm not sure what to do. Like, what would you say to them?
I would always say, and I've said it before, just understanding both and using both and not being afraid to do both at the same time. Like, don't be afraid to chase your passion and do your passion while you're also at the same time doing your, what you're good at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, both can help to offset the other.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Until your passion is your main thing, then keep what you're good at. You know what I mean? But continue to build your passion. Don't wait. Don't take time off. Just keep building it, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I've been with it, bro. Like I'm at that place where now I want to continue to build my passion, continue to grow it, continue for it to be a thing.
Yes, sir.
Until it becomes the main thing.
Absolutely.
And then at that point, then yeah, sure, I'll come out of the classroom and, really give 100% to that.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I still got to kind of do both. And, I'm also doing real estate as well.
Let's
so,
go.
I had my license there since 2016. So I
So is it
still
like
do that.
commercial, residential?
I do both, actually.
Let's go.
So
What
you know I'm saying?
counties?
I tell people the whole state. I got my license for the state. So yeah, man. It all depends though. Mainly RDU area, but I mean Eastern North Carolina. Of course, it has my heart because that's where I'm from. So
Yeah.
I'll depending on the situation, I will handle residential or commercial stuff. You know what I'm saying, between Wilson, Rocky Mount, Tall Pearl, Sharpsburg.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Roanoke Rapids, Garrisburg, Jackson, Littleton, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wherever. Just because, like I said, man, it's for me, it's you can't do enough. You know what I mean? You can't do enough. You got one life to live.
Yes, sir.
Gotta make the best of it. And whatever, like I said, I just keep going back to whatever you're good at and whatever you have a passion for, just have both of them joints intertwined, man, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Like hearing you talk, like you got me in a calm headspace to like really think about like my life and the pieces on the board, like
Right.
how to strategically maximize everything that I have at my disposal.
Yeah. Yeah. And that takes it takes a lot from you. I mean, I'll be honest. It can take a lot from you because, I mean, there are nights where it's hard for me to go to sleep because I'm thinking about stuff. I'm thinking about the next thing. You know what I'm saying? Constantly thinking about, okay, if I move this here, then this will grow here. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, all right, but if I keep this here and I stick with this, then this will be fine and I can kind of let that mature on itself. And so it's one of those things where, you know, there's so much that I want to do, right? And it's like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But when will I have the time to do it? And where can I set aside the time? And it's being very intentional about setting aside that time and sticking to that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what else comes up, you know what I mean? And that can be, let's be honest, that can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it can go both ways, man. But I've learned over time just sticking with it, understanding it, and mainly being intentional with it, man.
Yes, sir.
That's the beautiful thing, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what do you do in times where thoughts do become overwhelming? Like, what do you do to kind of like put yourself at ease or at peace?
So I mean, I don't advise nobody else to do it, but you do your own thing, man. I smoke cigars.
Okay.
And so like for me, that's kind of, I mean, it's become part of my lifestyle at this point.
Yeah.
Is you know, I do it and I enjoy cigars. I've enjoyed them ever since I started smoking them, which was in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that is kind of my thing. Like, you give me a cigar, you give me my laptop,
Yeah.
I watch Netflix, Hulu,
Yeah.
Prime,
Yeah.
stream whatever I want to stream,
Yeah.
YouTube, whatever. You just give me that, bro, and a cigar, and I'm chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that allows me time to kind of just pull back a little bit and just take time for myself.
Yes, sir.
And because I think so much, I try to do that, man, as often as I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To kind of just give me that space for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I know yesterday, I mean, I'll do it even just whenever I have work to do too. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it still goes hand in hand for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say it's part of my lifestyle now at this point. But it's like, okay, if I'm over here and, you know, I'm working on some work or working on a contract or working on, you know, whatever, then I might be smoking a cigar and finish that up, and then I'll go to watching something that I want to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So taking those breaks for myself and taking those moments to kind of get a woosah in.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And sometimes they get extended a little bit. I plan for it to be an hour. Might end up being 3.
Yeah.
You know, but to me, it was obvious that I needed it.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's another thing that I feel like assists me with just keeping kind of a level head and just being able to just be chill, man, for the most part.
And what about your relationship? First of all, are you in one? And 2, how do you manage that with all that you do?
Yeah, man. So I'm in one, and it ain't easy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy. And it's not easy trying to, you know, continue to make sure that we're giving each other all the things that we need to give one another, as well as me in turn kind of being attentive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As well. So I mean, it's kind of a lot to deal with, manage, you know, all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come to learn and understand over time, being with a musician ain't easy.
Yeah, it's not.
It ain't easy. Not. You know what I mean? And you know, I do not advise my goddaughter to to do that. She need to find somebody else. She need to find a lawyer, doctor, somebody. Don't be with nobody like your daddy and your and your godfather, man. So
Yeah.
you know, so it's funny because at the end of the day, like I said, man, there's so much that's going through my brain, through my mind, and you know, you also have to again give time to someone else to assist them with their desires and as well, so that way, you know, they don't feel like they're going unattended to.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And so you know, it can be a lot.
Yeah.
It can be
Do
a
you
lot.
guys ever like have conversations where y'all share y'all dreams and goals with each other?
Sure.
Yeah.
You always got to, man. You know,
Absolutely.
with anybody, you know what I'm saying, that you're with, you definitely have to keep that stuff, you know what I'm saying, out
Yeah.
there, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you want to make sure you're in alignment too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So so yeah, bro, like that's kind of how it is and how it goes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah, keeping those lines of communication open is pretty important.
Yeah.
Pretty important. So
Yeah.
yeah.
From day to day, how do you choose what to prioritize?
Great question. I tell people, like, I've had somebody call and they're like, "Hey man, when your next joint in, you know, in the area or whatever?" I don't know. I try to take it day to day. But in terms of what to prioritize, I have to understand also what needs the most attention in that moment in time.
Yes, sir.
So not only do I try to take it day to day, but I also take it moment by moment. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, sometimes I'll make a checklist and be like, all right, I need to see it. Because if I can knock it off, then I'm seeing it being knocked off, then I feel like I'm achieving something.
Yes, sir.
And then there are other days where I'm like, man, I'm too tired to write out a checklist. I'm going to just do it, and I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
But in actuality, I need to see it. You know what I'm saying? So I get lazy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so just understanding, you know, again, what needs the most attention in those moments, bro. Like that's kind of where it's at for me,
Yes,
which
sir.
is what gets the priority
Absolutely.
in those moments.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like, but it's tough.
Yeah.
Because there's certain stuff that is like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
And it can switch, and the other one can be 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro, it's interesting, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I think the most inspiring thing when I hear you talk is the fact that you still strive and continue to do it all.
Yeah, and that goes back to high school.
Yeah.
You know, I don't remember if it was my mom or some coaches, but it was just like, you know, what do you want to play? You know what I'm saying? Again, I just named off everything I played, but it was kind of like, what do you want to play? Like, you're gonna have to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, why not? Why four though?
Yeah.
Why do I need to narrow it down? Like, why can't I do it all?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up doing it all, and then it's like, but I have regret. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm doing it all now, and there's a lot going on, but what is the takeaway of all this? You know what I'm saying? What is the end goal to all of this, right? You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I'm at with it now, man, but I still want to do it all.
Yeah.
And until I see that, you know, and that there was a time where I did only have music and I did only have real estate, and it was interesting. I'm not gonna say it was a bad time, but it was just interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I relied on real estate only and on music only. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't have that steady guaranteed check every month. So it was like, okay, well, how are we gonna handle this? You know what I mean? But at the same time, during that time, yeah, God provided, but I was still also trying to find the steady because I was so used to that.
Yeah.
And so, to be honest, I look back on it and don't feel like I took complete advantage of that situation because I could have truly devoted even more time to that and probably could have came out a little bit different.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? But to me, that was a learning experience.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna say that was a regret. That was just to me a learning experience.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, going through that was, like I say, it was interesting. It was different, and I wouldn't take it back for nothing.
Yes, sir.
You know, but moving forward, I kind of know now if that were to present itself again, how I would handle that same situation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So as a teacher, as an educator, I don't know much about it, but I always see like online where there are like strikes and stuff because like teachers don't feel like they get paid enough.
Right.
Do you feel that way?
Yes. Yes, I do. And to me, it's worse in the K-12. It ain't great. I work in the community college system. It ain't great, but it's K-12 is it can be pretty tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm all for, you know, teachers, and then too I have to realize for me that I have a little more laxed attitude about it because I do have, you know, the music, I do have the real estate component to it, but these teachers, that's all they got. You know what I'm saying? That's it. They coming out of out of college, and this is their job, you know, and so this is all they do. You know, this is their source of income, and this is it. You know what I mean? So it's tough sometimes for them, and I try to look at it from the standpoint of, you know, again, this is all they got compared to me, where this ain't all I got.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
ever talked to a teacher about that? Like maybe that being all they have and you being able to see that they have gifts or talents to add something to it?
Yeah, some, yes. I mean, I know, you know, my thing is with certain teachers and in certain individuals, yes, you can see that they have something different, right? You can see that they have a passion for other things and whatnot, and so it's just understanding what they have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And them taking a hold of it and
Yeah.
going with it, man. But all in all, you know, I'll say for me personally, you know, we just got a raise at where I work.
Let's go,
And then
man.
we just got before school was over with, we also got a retention bonus. So, you know, to help retain the faculty that's in our department and whatnot. So I ain't got no complaints with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
Right now.
Yeah.
And again, it's just I can't speak to it as strongly as someone else
Yes, sir.
because it's not my plight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely respect those people and that are going through it.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, bro. That's how I see it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel like you should choose one thing?
From time to time, man. From time to time, I do, and it comes up, and it's like, ugh. I want to do just this. You know, if somebody asked me today, you got to pick one, music.
Yes, sir.
Period. That's without a shot. I wouldn't even blink twice. I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like
Mhm.
that's it. You know what I'm saying? But it takes time, and it takes, you know what I'm saying, just some serious dedication.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So there are times when, yes, I do sit back and I think, and it's like, again, and for me, that's one of the things that I'm focusing on too. Like, even though I have this thing on autopilot, because teaching to me is just second nature almost, that I'm like, I bet if that's second nature, then I'm going to just go out and I'm going to devote more time to the music thing, and let's see what else is needed for that to continue to elevate and put me in places where I want to be.
Yes, sir.
So so I mean, definitely still trying to figure that part out.
Yeah.
To get me again to where I want to be, and in situations that I've wanted to be in.
Absolutely.
All that type of stuff. So yeah.
All in all, it is very clear to me that no matter what happens, because of the mind that you have, you're going to be successful.
But you ain't got no choice, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to me is I just go back to kind of just not only how I was raised, but just understanding that over time you just got there's certain things that you got to take care of in life.
Yes, sir.
And there's only one way to achieve those things.
Yes, sir.
To be successful at something. You know what I'm saying? So, whether you're, good at a lot and you're great at nothing, like for me, I'm okay with that. Not everybody is, but, I'm okay with that. Like I don't expect to be the best teacher. I always say that on the first day. I don't expect to be your favorite math teacher that you've ever had. And I'm not saying that my way of teaching is the best for everybody. I'm also not saying that I'm the best saxophonist in the world. I don't think that even one bit, not the slightest bit. I'm looking at kids that are younger than me, and I enjoy their tone more than I enjoy mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things as well. So it's not that I feel like I'm the best at it all, but I do feel like I'm good enough to get my own piece of the pie of each piece. You know what I'm saying? Of each pie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I know I'm good enough to fit in this group. So why can't I be in that group? Or what do I need to do to get into that situation? You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's kind of where how I look at it, man.
Yeah.
So eventually I'm gonna be where I want to be.
Yes, sir.
And have the things that I want to have. But until then, I'm gonna keep on pushing myself.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is not get stagnant too, bro. So you know how that go.
Yeah,
yeah, man. We can never do that.
Yeah, gotta keep moving.
Got to.
Yeah,
got
man. Yo, man, I really appreciate you coming through, man. This has been
Appreciate
a very
you.
enlightening conversation.
Absolutely, man. It's been a long time overdue.
Yes, sir.
Long time overdue.
Y'all, this has been another episode of the RXS podcast with JP, and we out. Peace.